A very sincere rest in peace to Adam West. This is Corey, and this is the O The Anthem Podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. It is 5:12 Pacific Time. That makes it 8:12 Eastern Time. And this is the O The Anthem Podcast live from coast to coast, coming to you from high above the 110 freeway in beautiful downtown Los Angeles, California. And you spoiled my opener. I was going to say something along the lines of, holy cucumbers, Batman, are we in a pickle?
Yeah.
Sorry, Adam West. So, yeah. Sad
Burt
day.
Ward isn't dead yet, so, I guess you can...
I know, but it's like you're making...
You can save that one for Burt Ward.
For Burt Ward when he dies?
Yeah.
Will that make the national news the same way that Adam West did, do you think?
Probably not.
Yeah, I doubt it, but...
Some people will talk about it, though, I'm sure.
Of course, yeah. But, yeah, sad news. And I realized that Adam West has become far more than just, like, Batman now. I think of him more as the mayor on Family Guy than I do as Batman. So...
Well, it's incredible how some people can have second runs to their career, like that, and nobody thinks twice. I mean, nobody. Some people don't even know Adam West as Batman. I think. Is that still running?
Sorry, guys, I was turning off the AC there.
It's making some noise.
We're gonna have some background noise. And there are people who don't know. I think that Adam West was Batman. They're just like, oh, that guy's got an awesome voice and he's done voiceover work, but. No, his whole career is based off a very campy 60s television show, and he's just got this awesome second run of life now as a voice actor. Well, not anymore, but it'll be sad. It's sad that he won't be around anymore, and it's what do these things come in threes, right? Has there been a 2?
No, not that I know of.
All right, so we'll have to keep an eye out for the 2 and see who that is.
I'd be interested in knowing what a Family Guy is going to do though. Without Mayor West, because he was a
that
as him.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't replace him.
Well, I think that they have enough voice from the last 20 seasons or whatever that they could write him out, do a sign off.
They don't. He never says anything that's on topic anyway,
right.
So they can just have some irrelevant non sequitur as something.
And I think he married Lois,
the bathtub and just walk away.
He married Lois's sister too, so I feel like they could, there's a way that they could get him off. But anyway, so sad news that Adam West has passed away, but onward and upward. One thing that didn't die this week was the ratings for Wonder Woman stayed high.
I don't know if I'd say ratings, but the,
you know what I mean?
The box office for Wonder Woman.
The box office, there you go. But also, I was expecting that as more people went to see it, that the Rotten Tomatoes score would go down, even if it was just the haters getting on there.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, it stayed high. The audience score has fallen a little bit, but the critics are still very high. So
I think I said it to you. We saw it on Tuesday, discount day.
Yeah.
And I believe I said it at the time, which was, I think this, in the non-Dark Knight category of superhero movies.
There we go. Yeah.
This is the best superhero movie I've seen in a long time.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm glad that other people enjoy it. I think it's great.
And I say that we would highly recommend that you go see Wonder Woman, because it was, at least for me, it was fantastic. And it was probably the best origin story of the modern era, since the original Iron Man. I know you weren't really into it, but having known the story, they did such a good job with the origin story.
Well, you know what? It's so tough to do origin stories in superhero comics because so many people know it.
Right.
So, you have to spend the time setting up the Batman origin story in case there's somebody who doesn't know it. But it seems like every single filmmaker just wants to rush through it as quick as, and kill Batman's parents inside the first 5 minutes. And then inside the first 10, he's already in the outfit.
Yeah. But they did a really good job with it. I mean, it was the first act completely, and then, into at least part of the beginning of the second act too. So it was it was one movie that, of the ones I've seen this week, I think was exactly the right length. I don't think it could have been any shorter. I think everything that was in it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'm perfectly. I don't really have many complaints about the way the movie went. I think that it was exactly the way it was supposed to be. I think Patty Jenkins did a A+ job of keeping everything moving along nicely, and
Corey would have given it a perfect score if Patty Jenkins had been some sort of Patrick Jenkins.
Just
clearly, the fact that she's
because my hatred of women is so high that
you just have to hate.
Yeah,
but
I disagree with that. I think it's funny that I was looking it up today. Patty Jenkins did Monster,
Okay. Yes.
And then she had a lot of like TV credits and stuff, like, not to minimize any of them, but I mean, like, she's directing episodes of like Entourage and stuff like that. And now she gets Wonder Woman, but if she was Patrick Jenkins, I feel like she would have directed Monster and then had been giving something almost immediately of the caliber and scope of Wonder Woman. She wouldn't have had to sit for
the Oscar nominated
9 years.
The Oscar nominated Monster.
Yeah.
That then led to nothing but TV gigs short time.
Right.
But to her credit, well, I guess for her credit, they didn't think that Wonder Woman was going to be good, so they didn't lock her down. And
this is the part that's so funny to me. So you got Wonder Woman, which is a huge smash hit, is going to beat The Mummy in its second week.
Yeah.
With The Mummy premiering, which
Thank God.
I don't really need a Tom Cruise mummy movie.
Tom Cruise, please stop. Just stop.
I'm not even going to tell Tom Cruise to stop. I'm just going to tell them to stop making
The Mummy
movie. Like, I'm good.
We've talked about this before, though. They own it, and they have to pump out a movie because they lose the rights to it. So here we are again with another Mummy, and now Tom Cruise up on an apple box pretending he's as tall as the woman playing the Mummy.
I feel like we would be way better off if we had just give the Mummy to like somebody promising.
Yeah.
Find whoever the next big director you think, because when the 70s had its film renaissance, the golden age of film in the 70s, it was because people were just like, hey, this Scorsese guy looks good, but we don't really know what movie to give him, so let's just give him some money
and let him
make a movie.
Yeah.
And we'll just go from there, because then we got a good hot director under our umbrella.
And there are plenty of Patty Jenkinsons out there that say, we have this Mummy property that we have to make something with.
Right.
You've done well with the $5 million we gave you to make your movie.
Yeah.
Now let's give you bigger money to make The Mummy just because we have to make it.
And it's one of those cyclical conversations that you'll have about people regarding female directors, where they say, well, what female director would you give it to? And people can only think of so many names.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like, how deep of a list do you think most people know? Like Ava DuVernay?
Right.
Sofia Coppola?
Yeah.
Now
Patty Jenkins, but...
Patty Jenkins. Crap. And now I'm just forgetting her name completely, which is not great. But the one who did Zero Dark 30.
Oh.
Catherine Bigelow.
Okay.
You know, those are all names that people would recognize, but maybe not necessarily go to. It's not like the same thing as a Spielberg or Scorsese or a Woody Allen or whatever. But the way you make people have names is by giving them the opportunity to make films. So and if you give a female director who is talented but has not had the opportunity to direct something big enough, the opportunity, then you're going to make more of them. There's always this thing of like, well, we can't make this guy the star of the team because he hasn't proved it yet. Well, you haven't given him the chance to be the star of the team. So.
And I mean, that question is never asked for male directors. They never say. I mean, Josh Trank got Fantastic Four, and no one said, "Is he ready for this?" They said, "No, he's a hotshot. He's ready for it."
And we better get him now. We better scoop him before he's off the market. But we can't get him for our Fantastic Four.
But Patty Jenkins directs Monster, which was, I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yeah.
But fantastic movie. Oscar nominated, and she waits 9 years to get her next one. But that's the entire problem. And you know, it's the kind of thing where like we are having this conversation that does not benefit us whatsoever.
Well, the other
because you're a white man and you would love more white men directing films.
No, it goes with I literally want anybody. Right. I mean, I work on set and most of the time I'm working on set, I'm working with, I would say, pretty even gender splits. There are probably more men, but it's, you know, like one of those 60-40 conversations. It's not...
Maybe there's more men in the industry.
It's not 10 men and 1 woman, but I'm working on sets that are pretty split, and I have no problem with it. I like the differing viewpoints of different artists in different positions. And, you know, there's a whole broad range of different ethnicities and cultures, and you know, I worked on like a pretty much exclusively Chinese set. I thought that was great. Yeah,
but you've also worked for female directors.
Yeah,
they are out there.
Yeah, they're good. You gotta. I think more of them have been female directors that I've worked for since I've been doing shorts, and have been male directors.
So that they're out there and they're working. They're just not getting the opportunity to step up to the next.
Yeah, but I mean,
chapter.
It's the same thing. Like, if I want to put, take an actor who's good but not like everybody knows kind of thing.
Okay.
Jane Krakowski, because we were watching Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah.
She's great. Mm-hmm. She would never get a chance to lead a film because people would be like, well, really, how much is Jane Krakowski going to put asses in seats? But you got to give her the opportunity to do it before you can say yes or no.
And depending on the role.
But the problem is you don't want to sink $15 million into this thing that Jane Krakowski is the lead of and find out that she can't fill an audience,
But you talked about the golden age of film, the last golden age of film in the 70s. What spawned that golden age of film?
Opportunity.
Well, before that. How did they get that mentality?
Well, most of it was they lost the rights to the entire chain of command.
Right.
So I mean, like it used to be that prior to there was a Supreme Court case that broke it down, but the studios owned the pictures, they owned the movies, and then they owned the theaters in which they were played.
Right.
And if they were playing in a theater that was one that they didn't own, they'd charge a huge upsale for it. And then they'd also block book, which is if you want to take Wonder Woman, you're also going to have to take my 10 terrible movies
that
too.
you have to pay for.
Right. You have to pay equally for all 10 or all 11 of those movies, but you're not getting any of them if you don't take Wonder Woman.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and or you're not getting Wonder Woman if you don't take all of the rest, really.
Right.
But in the end, though, what that came from is a money crunch. And there was a challenge coming from television. Television was getting better in the 60s, and they had the Supreme Court case, and it broke down, and they stopped saying...
I wouldn't even see television was getting better in the 60s or 70s. I just think it was there.
Right.
Which is the difference. Like, people were saying that they're not going to... I remember 10 years ago, people were saying, like, oh, I'm not going to watch a movie on my computer. Like,
right. Yeah.
I have my DVD player. I have my big screen TV.
I think you were quoting the president of Blockbuster who didn't buy Netflix for $1 million.
They didn't foresee how people would actually enjoy watching movies at home.
Right.
But that didn't... You could see it in the air. Like, you could see that the internet was a real thing. Like, people were watching YouTube nonstop.
Yeah.
And uploading stuff, and it just wasn't... It's... The industry is always the last one to see it.
Right.
But I feel like there's a real opportunity here if... the King of Hollywood just give me a chance to open up the floodgates to all these new promising directors.
Well, and that's kind of my point, is that now we are in a new golden age of television, and the pressure is going to be put on them that maybe you do make your $150 million comic book movie, but instead of doing that and 3 other $100 million movies, maybe do that and 100 $1 million, I mean, not really, but 100 $1 million movies or $25 million movies, and give those people a chance.
There's never been more of a desire for content. It's outrageous. The internet and TV stations are trying to book themselves with literally whatever.
Yeah.
Stations hardly even matter. I mean, like, if you've watched MTV, you've known this for quite some time, but the station really doesn't matter. As long as if I had the best show in television, and it had nothing to do with music or teenagers or anything,
they're gonna pitch it.
They're gonna want it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
MTV is gonna want this hot show. Like, it doesn't matter what it is.
AMC rebuilt themselves around shows.
Yeah.
They said, this is a great show, we want it. And then they started saying, well, we have another good show that would be a good companion for that. And another one. And now AMC, which was American Movie Classics. When's the last time you've seen a American movie classic?
Well, I'm sure they still do it. It's just
2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, 2:00 in the morning after the third rerun of Walking Dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, it's there's hope out there that there's an expansion, and like Netflix and Amazon didn't fill their quotas this year on shows, so like their pitching is now not a November to April thing; it's a year-round thing because they're looking for so much content, and the movie production has to adjust to that. They have to be able to say, we got to keep up with these guys.
And one more. I didn't know too much about Gal Gadot before we saw Wonder Woman.
Right.
I mean, I was certainly aware of who she was, but I had never bothered to look into the backstory or the history of her or anything
Rachel
like that.
found those weird pictures on your computer right now. We talked about that. So, yeah.
I think mostly because I was watching... All I knew her from was Fast and the Furious.
Right, yeah.
Like not the most recent one, but the one before that. Paul's last.
Yeah. Paul's last.
And I sort of said, well, I mean, you know, she's pretty and everything, but I don't know if there's anything here.
Substantive.
Yeah.
She's in the Fast and Furious movie.
Right. So how good of a person could she really be on the inside? Like, but no, I've been super impressed with Gal Gadot too, and I think that I'd like to see more. I'd like to see her get something that's not that Wonder Woman wasn't substantive, but like something that could really make her go through the range of emotions and sort of see.
There is a role that is Wonder Woman. It doesn't give you a lot of ability to go outside that. So
yeah, I mean, you can't paint outside the numbers too much with Wonder Woman.
I will say though that I saw an interesting like little meme that was an old comic square of Wonder Woman carrying Batman and Superman out of a hole.
Yeah,
and like the caption is basically the DC cinematic universe right now, and it's 100% true. If whatever they did to get Wonder Woman right, you need to do that. Continue doing that in the future.
What you need is a good. I mean, if you're gonna, so this is the part of the problem with movies right now is it's more about creating a universe in which these films can continue. I mean, like before the idea was let's have a movie that's good enough to warrant a sequel. So, like, people were really excited that Jurassic Park was good.
Yeah.
Because then you could make Jurassic Park 2.
And 3.
And there was a thirst for it.
And then another one.
Yeah, but now they're not interested in making Jurassic Park 1, 2, and 3. They're interested in making like, Star Wars can be made into 50 movies.
Right. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
The standalone Han Solo movie, Rogue One, and all the things. Yeah.
They can do Life Before Skywalker or whatever. They can literally come up with anything and put it into the universe and have...
Life Before Skywalker. I like that. I feel like we should pitch that to George Lucas.
I just threw it. Just came out of the old...
That's copyrighted.
Out of the old brain pan.
That's copyrighted. Nobody take that. Life Before Skywalker, a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
Man. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
It's just about mom and dad farming.
No, it's about the glory days of the Republic, like the old Republic.
Yeah.
Before
the millennials ruined it.
Yeah. Before the third millennial BC millennials ruined everything in a universe far, far away.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we more Gal Gadot. Oh, sorry, you were saying they don't make sequence anymore. It's not about first.
Yeah, but I mean, like I was hearing today that the reason why they're really pushing the new Transformers movie is because they've already have like 4 spinoffs already planned. Like they're gonna make a what do you call it? Oh God, the yellow one. Bumblebee. Yeah. They're going to make a Bumblebee spinoff.
Right.
And like how little do I care about a Bumblebee spinoff?
When I think it's a prequel, it's what happens between the earlier movies when he's not with what's his face?
I don't get it. If we could all just agree as a movie going public that we're not going to support this thing anymore, they'll stop doing it.
Or
because right now, if it's just random bombs, like if it's just like Baywatch doesn't work, and it's just like, well there's many reasons why Baywatch didn't work. If you just refuse to go to the movies, if it's terrible, then we can solve a lot of problems.
My alternative opinion is this: if we're going to keep doing this universe building thing, listen, King of Hollywood, oh boy, do I have a universe for you. It's America in a slightly dystopian future. There are currently 5 stories already ready to be told.
Buy Rob's books.
All you have to do is buy my books and you can check it out. But yeah. So speaking of a slightly dystopian future,
yes,
we go plummeting in that direction in real life. This week, though, a glimmer of hope. And Corey, that glimmer was actually the 6 a.m. sun coming through the window as he woke up at an ungodly hour to watch James Comey testify.
Yeah, why did... no respect for the West Coast.
We're not real America, don't you know that? This is...
I was reading stories online about how DC area bars were opening up early so people could drink and watch the Comey.
It's this Russian vodka. Yeah.
Man, I wish. There's nothing I'd like more than to just be at some watering hole outside of City Hall, like at 7 o'clock in the morning, like, hit me.
But yeah, so you watched the entire thing, other than the few minutes that you slept when I came out and you were already sleeping.
Yeah,
so.
Kamala Harris sort of bored me, and I just nodded off.
Well, and they weren't talking about Russia. They were a couple of them got off onto Sessions and other things.
Yeah,
so.
I think that might have been Sessions' time where I missed.
Yeah.
But way more interesting than most congressional hearings are.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's going to be I know that the ratings were huge for it.
It was he beat the first game of the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Like, that is ridiculous for something that goes out on C-SPAN. I can't even.
At 10 a.m. on C-SPAN, Eastern Coast time. God, I just... Someday they're going to figure out some way to monetize all the things we're watching. Like the Comey testimony brought to you by Snickers, and that's when we've gone too far. That's the point of no return. There's no coming back from that.
I feel like it would be better if Comey's testimony was brought to you by Smirnoff. I just feel like that is the perfect or visit Moscow. Moscow.ru.
It's just you see a Smirnoff bottle coming off from the side of this thing and just like pouring. It just creates like a little like ocean of Smirnoff vodka. And
he's just like his tall ass filling up the whole goddamn screen.
Just right above. It's like, it's refreshing and delicious. Smirnoff.
But so what were your thoughts overall on the Comey hearing?
I think Comey really relished the opportunity to go up there and start poking holes in Trump.
When I walked out 2 hours in, he was still smiling, like, "Oh yes, this is not like the last times I've been here."
Here's the number one bit. You know how you were wishing this entire time that at least one Republican would develop a spine or a backbone of some kind and be like, "This isn't right.
Yeah,
we should not be okay with this." That was basically Comey. He doesn't have to get elected. He doesn't have to worry about raising money. He doesn't have to deal with some guy without a shirt named Cletus who's yelling at him outside of his campaign stops. He can just do what's right.
Yeah.
There's no he thinks a special prosecutor would be right. Let's get us a special prosecutor. Yep. It doesn't have to be the way it's been. It doesn't have to be business as usual, and I felt that to be a refreshing change of pace.
But we are not giving James Comey a pass. I want to be clear that James Comey is a bit of an asshole. He stepped in it last year. He is not the great hero of the Republic. I think too many people are saying, like, "Oh, thank God for James Comey coming." No. He created this mess.
You got to take it where you can get it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was right to have open FBI investigations into Trump collusion way back when. Like way back in June of last year. Like, we're speaking a year ago, we knew about this, and we haven't really started covering the story deeply until Trump already became president.
Right.
So, maybe a heads up about that would have been nice. I don't think that you needed to necessarily sync the Hillary campaign with like the week before
review.
message.
Yeah.
Oh, and one other thing, just because she's been in the news an alarming amount. Hillary Clinton, I'm done. Like, we don't need to hear it. Like, nothing you were saying is productive or good.
It was great when you just went away and didn't say anything. Why did you feel the need to come back?
I don't for a second get it. It's like she's trying to run again. Like she didn't learn.
She is.
She didn't learn the last time.
Like she didn't learn the last two times where she got beat by a nobody from Chicago
named Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah. Which I can't imagine a worse name to run at 7 years after 9/11. But got beat then almost, now let's just say, got beat by a 75-year-old man from Vermont.
Yeah.
And then had to have her friends skew the results to get her in.
Did you hear about, I'm going to quote this just in case.
Sure,
because it's a little bit under the radar, but Debbie Wasserman Schultz calling into a law office with the voice changer?
No.
So right now, here's some fun news. There's a class action lawsuit against the DNC,
right,
brought upon by Bernie supporters in several states where they felt wronged, like Arizona we talked about,
right,
that sort of thing. There's a class action lawsuit. The firm that is handling the lawsuit got a call from Florida with a number that, once you Google it, goes to Debbie Wasserman Schultz campaign offices.
Oh my, yeah,
and the voice changer that you hear on like cop shows, like when they're like talking to somebody who wants to have their
in darkness.
In the dark, and it's like obscured. It's like, this police officer is going to turn on the rest of his department. It's just like, I was there on the afternoon of February 13th.
Yes, yeah.
Like, that's what apparently on the other line was just like, I'd like to know some information about this Debbie Wasserman Schultz DNC lawsuit you got going. It's like
Debbie. I just made a comment about Hillary, that she went away and we were happy about it. That goes doubly for you. Please.
She shouldn't
stay away.
She shouldn't have any kind of responsibility.
No. And hopefully, I think she's still in office, isn't she? Yeah, she's still a congressman. So hopefully that'll change in 2018. I will give the Republicans that seat so long as we get her out, honestly.
I love the idea of just like picking off the dead. Like I think that now I'm not trying to push for the Democratic Party here, but if I was, I would say knock off anybody who isn't useful to you.
Yeah.
Including Feinstein.
Dianne Feinstein?
Yeah, and you're in California. Like she is not doing what you need her to do.
Maybe it's time to look the other direction.
Just get somebody more liberal and vote her out of office and just figure out a way to make that person win.
Well, first of all, that is the safest seat in the world.
Yeah.
So give it to a Bernie supporter. Make a sacrifice on the altar.
Just give it to somebody like our city councilman, Jose Huizar.
Yes.
Who I love.
Yes.
He's always stepping up and doing something. Like
right.
I'm always seeing him like talking to people online and like just being a part of it. Like I think that somebody like him, if he was the senator from California.
It's a big jump though.
Oh, I know. I understand.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it would be appropriate for him to do it in 2018 or 2020 when she's up. Yeah. When she's up. But I'm saying he's the type of guy that I would like to see run for that sort of position.
What about Eric Garcetti?
See, but Garcetti won't go from mayor to senator.
To national senator? It's a step up.
Yeah, it is, but I think that he would be more interested in going to governor or just running straight to president.
Well, but you know that
because he's got enough name.
Right, but
mayor of Los Angeles is essentially the same as being the governor of, Iowa or something like that. Like you have way more that you do.
Right.
As mayor, it's the same thing. Like they used to say that mayor of New York City was more important than governor of New York.
Right.
Because you had more that you were doing as mayor of New York than the governor of the state.
Largest army in the world.
Right.
You're in control of. So thanks, Michael Bloomberg. But the traditional paths are either the governorship or the senatorship to the presidency. And
we haven't had a mayor go straight from mayor to...
No. Martin O'Malley, I think, would have tried.
But he was...
Thank God.
He had the governorship. Yeah, he had to step up a little bit.
It's those off-year elections. Yeah. That saved us from having him run for president directly from the mayorship. He had to run for governor in the middle. But, So anyway, back to Comey, though. In the end, though, no big reveals. I would say there's nothing groundbreaking there.
You know what I think Comey did? Which is... very daft of him. Okay. Is he knew how to say things that were going to cause the Trump administration to step in it more.
They're gonna have to respond.
Yeah, there's no way you don't. Like Comey calls Trump a liar, and then Sarah Huckabee Sanders, in the shadow of darkness of a non-video press conference, says, no, Trump's not a liar. I've never known him to lie. He's always been honest with me. And I'm just like, this is not one that's like shade, like, well, he said this, but what he really meant was this. And like, you're interpreting something after the fact. There have been times where he has straight up lied.
Knowing that he's lied.
Turned like his entire worldview around.
Yeah.
Within weeks. Like,
yep.
This is not up for debate.
There's a guy who's a president of an African country named Robert Mugabe, and he wins elections by like 99% because you can't win by 100. That something looks
unusual if you do that.
Yeah, but like he's that guy too, where he will just say something and then the free press, which is usually Reuters or somebody who's not from his country, will say, "Well, you literally said the opposite a week ago," and he's nope, didn't. And they play him the tape, and he's like, "I don't know what that is. That's not. That's not me. You. I can see you. You're doing this." But now that Central African dictatorship has come here.
You're just holding up a sheet in front of your face. It's like, well, you can't see it was me.
Yeah. But now that's coming home, and now we have it here. But nothing super groundbreaking. It does force the Trump administration to respond, which is something. And Trump said that he would testify under oath.
Not specifically. Now, this is something I do for all the people who say that Trump is an idiot and stupid and doesn't know what he's doing and blah, 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 this should be the scary part that you should be aware of. He will make you seem that. He will make you think that. Yeah. But then when he's talking to Comey, he'll also say things like, I hope you can find a way. Hope is a very open-ended. I mean, you can make the argument that when he says, I hope you can find a way to drop it, that it's it seems very much like an order. Yes. But he can still maintain, when I said hope, it was a conversation between two unseparated parties. Right. And just going, listen, he's already gotten the shit kicked out of him. What are you going to do? Send him to jail? Like, he's never going to work again. He's a good guy. Yeah. Like, it sounds like the father going in, like his son got caught drunk driving or blew like a .05.
He's like, come on.
It's just like, he's a good kid. Yeah. He's going to Harvard in the fall. Please don't ruin his life over He'll
never get the chance to rape a woman on Harvard's campus.
I will never let him forget this. Yeah. He will not live this down. He will be punished for it. You have to, please, if there's any way that you can find it in your heart to give him another chance. Like those types of words that are not me going like, you better let my son free or else I'm going to fucking kill you. Like,
but then when you come back 2 months later and you say, did you handle that thing? Yeah. Now in context with that, it makes it seem like much more of an order. Yeah. So there's got to be some kind of separation.
And when you get fired for seemingly that, then it causes another layer of problems.
That meeting, and then you say no, and then you start writing memos to document everything because you know shit's about to get real, and then you get fired.
By the way, just another thing. If I work for the government and I write a diary or a journal, and I don't turn that over to Congress before I go to my testimony, that's not against the law. No. It's not against the law to write notes to yourself. Furthermore, if those notes do not contain any sensitive classified information and I want to share them with whoever I feel like, that is also not against the law.
Feel free.
So,
including the public if you want to publish them.
I'm not, I understand that they deem this to be a leak. I think that's a little bit far of a stretch. Yeah. This isn't Snowden. This is not him breaking some sort of like deeply classified piece of information.
It's also not reality winner, the woman who got arrested last week. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, that's happening in 2017. People getting arrested for leaking things that may or may not actually be classified. Yeah. To the media to tell us that your government is screwing you over. So.
Oh man. Yeah. But the good news. The Comey hearings may lead, or certainly going to lead to a new hearing that'll drop this Tuesday along with the podcast.
Yeah, the testimony, you said earlier that it was going to force the Trump administration to do something, and it did. Unfortunately, it wasn't Trump who's going to come, but Jeffrey Beauregard Sessions.
Jefferson Sessions.
That's right, yeah. Jefferson Beauregard Sessions.
If it doesn't sound like a slave owner's name enough.
Yeah, you have to add in the
Beauregard
southernness. What is going on?
Well, hello there, Bonnie.
All right, so that's happening. Okay. Anyway, so Jeff Sessions, apparently in his admonition that he would in fact be testifying, says that he has to come and testify because he has to address some of the things that Comey brought up. So it literally directly went to addressing Comey's testimony. Comey forced them to come out and bring something forward. Yeah. Now, what is Sessions? First of all, Sessions is having literally the worst week ever. Yeah. Week starts out with him, news leaking that he and Trump are basically fighting all the time. Yeah. And Trump is getting very vocal with him. And that Trump tweets like the PC version of the travel ban, right? Which is what Sessions put together to try and get it through, right? To do what his boss was telling him to do. Yeah, get us a ban. By the way, this is something that came up during Sally Yates. Yeah.
When she testified, one senator asked her, "How do you know that this is unconstitutional? Because doesn't the Supreme Court have to decide whether or not something's unconstitutional?"
Yeah.
Like, how can you, prior to this even being released to the public, say for a matter of fact that it's unconstitutional,
Right,
without a judge ruling on it? And she goes, "Well, it's one of those, I technically can't say this is unconstitutional because of that reason, but I can say that I have strong belief that based off of my knowledge of constitutional law,
it will be found
unconstitutional.
Yeah.
And it's better to just let the sort of thing happen, or like not even put it out there in the universe to find out.
Right.
Just drop it now.
Because why are we going to waste the taxpayers' time
and money and everything just to get, the robes to weigh in on it.
And the lawsuits eventually when someone gets deported and then we have to let them back in, or they get held in an airport for 18 hours and then they're found to be illegal. Anyway, so Sessions, though, after having the worst week of having to, number one, get in fights with his boss, and that gets public. Number two, say that he was going to resign, and then that got leaked.
Yeah.
So like now everyone's hearing that, oh, well, maybe Sessions is out. And after all of that, Comey hearings come out, and boom, now he's going to have to go before Congress. And it's been basically proven that he testified untruthfully before Congress previously.
Right.
And that most likely he lied on his government form in order to get a security clearance.
Yeah.
So
about meetings with Russian ambassadors.
Right. The same ones that he lied about in front of Congress, by the way. So if there is someone who may end up going to jail, at this point, our best case scenario is it's looking like Jefferson, Beauregard, Sessions.
Yeah.
Because Flynn is a military man. And I think I made this argument to you earlier. There's a likelihood that he would fall on his sword for the commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
Jefferson is not a military man. No. He is a
known
Southern
coward.
gentleman.
Known coward.
And he is a Southern gentleman who really all he wants in life is to live comfortably. So, he's not going to be able to do that in even a minimum security prison somewhere. And facing 10 years, I think that he instead of doing the 10 years, he pleads out and goes in and testifies against Trump.
Yeah.
So.
And we're back. Sorry about that. So you were saying you don't imagine that Comey would fall on the sword. Flynn, perhaps.
Sessions won't fall.
Yeah.
Flynn, I think, would take one for Trump. But I don't think that Sessions is that guy. He's not the guy who's going to take a 10-year prison sentence for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, David Duke, maybe. These guys tend to run in circles with each other, so maybe he would take one for David Duke.
They run in circles and flaming crosses.
Yeah, well, and with hoods and the whole nine. So, I mean, I think that there are situations that he would go to jail, but not for Donald Trump, and not for something that I don't think he wanted to be involved with from the get-go. I think he was happy with his life. He was in Congress, but I
think he felt like this was a chance to be a part of an administration, and that...
His last one, maybe.
Yeah.
He's an old guy, and if Donald Trump got 8 years and he didn't join the Trump administration, he's probably done by the time Trump gets out.
Right.
And the way that American politics works, inevitably, if Trump went 8 years, most likely a Democrat follows for at least 4 years. So, because we only smarten up and pick the other side every 8 years.
Right.
So we'll see. But
unless you're in the UK.
Yes.
Where...
where your leaders can make the worst and most stupid decisions ever.
Yes. So let's back it up a little bit. So everyone remembers the Brexit vote.
Yes.
Where it was Cameron still at that time, right?
It was David Cameron, yes, who is leading the Conservative Party. Cameron
was the prime minister. Said that if Brexit passed, he was not going to continue on as Prime Minister of England.
I'll give you the vote, but if you do this, I don't want to stay here.
Yeah. Which led to Theresa May becoming Prime Minister of England.
Right. She is leader of the Conservative Party now.
And then wanting to have a snap election, a quick, basically the same thing as like if Trump decided that he wanted to have every single race up for her election next year, 2018. It wasn't just going to be the congressional seats and some Senate seats.
Everything.
It was going to be everything. Right. Every single Senate seat, every single congressional seat, and the presidency. Because, well not the presidency, I guess.
To be fair, so in the system, the House of Lords isn't elected. They're literally lordships. They pass down. The Queen can issue a new one and create new lordships and thus increase the number in the House. But otherwise, they're set. The Queen is the head of state, so not so much turnover in the presidency there. Yeah. Although I think she's just trying to outlive her son so that her grandson goes directly to the throne.
The prime minister would really be more of like the diplomatic.
Keep in mind that that's more of a Speaker of the House. It's just a very powerful Speaker of the House.
Right.
So the English Constitution says that you have to have an election at least every 7 years. But election can be called at any time. You just can't go more than 7 years without having an election. So a lot of times what will happen is Theresa May came in as the new conservative. We are the pro-Brexit. We got this thing done. Nigel Farage and her were thought to be much closer ideologically than David Cameron and Farage were, clearly.
Right.
So what you do in those problems...
Basically, Cameron was the old Republican of America that is no longer...
Right.
Like, you used to say, like, the fiscally responsible Republican.
Yeah.
Who just wanted everyone to live their lives privately and not be interfered with the government. The good old days.
Ron Paul.
Yeah.
A Ron Paul Republican.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a little bit of an extreme. But, Ron Paul Republican, that is David Cameron. Although it's not nearly the same thing. But
right,
he is old school Tory. And then these new Tories are anti-Europe. They're anti-NATO in a lot of ways.
Right.
And so... when they voted for Brexit, he left. The party had an election, but there was a lot of rumors swirling around about votes of no confidence for Theresa May. And essentially, what happens is, if the prime minister is the leader of the party who has the majority in the lower house of the House of Commons in Parliament, and if they can get a majority vote to vote and say we have no confidence in your ability to lead us, they have new elections within Parliament for a leader. And riding this wave of Brexit passed and I am the middle ground between Nigel and Cameron and this is where England is now, Theresa May says, before I go negotiate this Brexit exit because it's a 2-year negotiation, and elections would have had to happen in 3 years, I want to say.
Well, I also heard a lot of stories about her wanting to, like, essentially run up the score in the House of Commons.
Yes. Yeah. It's she thought it was a good time.
She had a majority in the House of Commons, but it wasn't an overwhelming majority.
No. And it's been that way since Tony Blair left.
Yeah.
Tony Blair left not just because he left, but because the Labour Party lost the majority. So in 1997, Labour won the majority, and then slowly but surely, in a landslide, in that type of huge runoff.
Yeah.
Then they slowly lost seats until the Conservatives had a big election and won, and that didn't put David Cameron in. I want to say that put Brown in, the guy that was before David Cameron. And then they slowly eroded seats, but Theresa May looked at everything that was going on in England and said, now's the time.
Yeah.
They gave us Brexit. We're going to do this thing. And so let's call a vote. And the thing is, once you call a vote, you can't uncall it.
Yeah.
So they called an election. And by the way, just to mention, called the election, held the election, results of the election, all in the time between when John Ossoff won his initial election in Georgia and the primary and the runoff election.
Yeah.
All of these, their entire election process happened within one special election period in America.
Yeah.
We're doing it wrong. But much to her dismay, a guy in the political winterlands or hinterlands came out of nowhere, the leader of the Labour Party, and rallied the entirety of Great Britain to Labour's perspective. And instead of giving all of the great number of seats, she thought she was going to get this huge push again, which buys you several elections of then runoff. They lost the majority. So now we have what's called a hung parliament in England. And what that means is that no party has a majority of the votes. And when you don't have a majority of the votes, you can't form a government unless you do one of several things. One of those things is to call new elections, because you think, something happened. There's a wild card, but if we call new elections, we'll get they're only 3 or 4 short of a majority, so maybe we'll get it. We'll get those extra 3 seats. But Theresa May, after having been so confident, I think the last thing she wants to do is to call new elections.
Yeah.
So instead what you do is you form a minority government where you find enough votes from other parties, people who will align themselves with you, that you can form a government. And then you go to the Queen and you ask permission, which is what they do, even though it's really just political theater because the Queen doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of corgis to deal with, and she doesn't want your shit. She just wants you to...
She just wants to continue collecting her money.
Right. And
living in the palace and pet corgis.
And playing with her grandbabies, I would assume, because she's a grandmother. But
several times over.
Yeah. So I think that the big news that's coming out of this election isn't just that Labor made huge gains, which is hopefully signaling that Trump was the high water mark of this conservative push around the world. Like Macron winning in France and Labor picking up huge numbers of seats in Parliament looks like we're swinging back to the left.
Yeah.
Which is
Trudeau.
good. Trudeau winning, all good things. Now, the second reason this is big news is because in order to form a minority government, Theresa May went to the DUP party, which is a small party of ultra-conservative people in Northern Ireland. These people are anti-abortion,
They're like the Freedom Caucus.
Yes, they're the Freedom Caucus of Parliament.
Yeah.
And she needed their votes in order to get a majority to form a government. And it looks like they've struck that deal, and she'll go ask the Queen to form a minority government. And at the first instance, there will be a vote of no confidence, and probably that will fall apart. But the scarier part of this is...
Not for all of us. Some of us have been looking forward to war with England for a while.
Well, I was going to say, the scarier part of this is that by bringing DUP into the national government, that specifically breaks part of the Good Friday Accords. Now, Corey, as an Irishman, I assume that you know what the Good Friday Accords are.
Not in every single sparkling detail, but I will say that for a while there, Ireland has been quite upset about being muddled in with the rest of the United Kingdom.
For a while.
For
the last 800 years or so, they've been very upset.
Last 1,000 years or so, they've been pretty upset.
And then about 100 years ago, they got independence.
Yeah. And as part of that independence, there was, how do I put this delicately? A lot of bombings that took place.
Yes. Yeah.
And basically, the Good Friday Accord was part of trying to keep peace between... Nope. Am I completely off?
I am so upset that you are misrepresenting the Irish so poorly.
Well, at least I think the live stream's kicked off.
Okay. So sorry if you guys are watching the live stream. It looks like it's still live. You don't have video. So if you can hear us, then
I don't
great.
know what's going on with that.
But yeah, the blue ring's gone, so it's definitely off. But try plugging it out, unplugging it, plugging it back in. Didn't do it. Didn't work. All right. But so the Good Friday Accords weren't about Irish independence. It was about the blistering sore on the side of the Irish nation, which is Northern Ireland. Which County Ulster was not given back to Ireland. Ireland is split into 2 countries, not a single country on an island. And then basically Sinn Féin, which is now a political party, also known as the IRA, and DUP, which is now a political party, but was native Englishmen in Northern Ireland, had a war throughout the 80s. 60s, and then there was peace. And then 80s, and then there was peace in the early 90s. And that peace has held since then, thanks to the Good Friday Accords, which were a follow to the Bloody Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday,
the song
Bloody
by
Sunday.
U2. Yeah. That's based on an actual day in history where there was an extreme amount of violence, and then everyone basically said, all right, we need to chill the fuck out. Let's go to the table. And on Good Friday before Easter, when neither one of the sides... they were looking at, let's have peace by Easter, and they struck an accord on Good Friday. But by that agreement, neither one of them was supposed to have power in Northern Ireland. There's supposed to be a power sharing agreement, but they haven't been able to work that out. Surprise, surprise.
Almost hard to believe.
Which means that everything in Northern Ireland is done from Westminster. But if the DUP, who is Northern Ireland, is part of the government at Westminster, essentially they then become the power in Northern Ireland, which would break the Good Friday Accords, which means that theoretically Sinn Féin and the IRA would be within their rights to reopen warfare.
Sounds good to me.
I do love that I started following a lot of extremists on Twitter, and there was definitely a split between like, yes, well, at least we can start killing some Brits again. And it's horrible. We don't want to have the violence. If we're going to have violence, can we just do it here, honestly? But I think the bigger deal, though, is that there will end up being violence, and the world will see that Catholics and Protestants killing each other in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
After all of this, Islam is a religion of violence and Christianity is a religion of peace. Like, no. In 2017, there may be open warfare between Catholics and Protestants.
Yeah.
Because of land, country, religion, like the big three. You know, the big three. There may be war again.
Not only this, but the people who, just as a quick aside, the people who think that the Christianity is the religion of peace have not followed up on their Christianity since the Bible was written.
Yeah.
Because
there's been a lot of stuff that happened.
There's been, I don't know, the Crusades and
Inquisition. And the other Inquisition.
Yeah.
And the other Inquisition.
Or any time a Lutheran decides to nail a piece of paper to a door.
Witch trials.
Yeah. There's been some things.
Yeah. War in Iraq, war in Iran.
And if you want to think if you want to think of it this way, because everything is needlessly complicated and nothing will fit into a perfectly succinct box.
Right.
But Ireland, with the Catholics and the Protestants going against each other, is very similar to many Islamic nations having disputes. Like, it's Islam versus Islam.
It's funny.
And different versions of the religion fighting each other. And you say, like, well, why can't they just figure it out? It's not just that. There's way more to it than that.
And it's almost a good lesson. Like, I don't want to see pictures of Dublin with bombs having gone off,
right,
or Ulster just being racked by violence. But part of me says it's a good lesson.
And I think
for the
Belfast
world.
would probably be the more likely.
Well, no, because the DUP, part of their thing that's happened since the Good Friday Accord is just saying that they don't necessarily recognize Ireland as an independent state.
Yeah.
That it should be returned to Great Britain. Mm-hmm. And Sinn Féin says that Ulster and where Belfast is always part of Ireland, and it will be part of Ireland again. They elect people to Parliament. They just don't send them to Parliament.
Yeah.
Like, we want to vote. We want to show that we are out here and politically active, but we're not going to come participate in your farce of a government. So we'll elect all people from our party and then not send any of them to work. And by the way, take their salary and take their monthly expenses that they're allowed to use and feed people in Northern Ireland and house people and like they do so much good community work with the Queen's money. I love it. But yeah, so it's horrible, the idea that their violence might break out again, and that open warfare may break out again between Ireland and England. Like, what goddamn year is this? But it'll be a good lesson for people that it's not just Islam.
Yeah.
It happens in Christianity.
It's not just the Middle East. It's literally these tensions boil up across the globe every so often.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And it's not publicized a lot. When you talk about Israel, you think about Israel and Palestine, but the two sects of Judaism in Israel, the like much more religious,
conservative,
like very conservative ones, and the where always wear the ceremonial garb and they do the whole thing, and the more new age ones, they fight all the time too. It pales in comparison to the violence between religions.
Yeah.
Well, we're about to see some violence, intra-religious violence, intra-religious violence in Christianity. Well, hopefully not, but we may end up seeing some.
Right.
So it's good and it's bad. Now, something I would much rather see than violence in Northern Ireland, the beach in Ocean City this summer.
You say that, but I don't know if...
Well, I suppose I should, I suppose I should rectify that and say that it depends on... It depends on a lot of factors. Because those who abide by laws are not necessarily the ones you want to see abide by.
I like the old saying of every man wants to visit a nudist colony until he's been to a nudist colony.
Yeah, that's basically it. So, if you guys haven't heard, Ocean City has been in the news this week because there was a bit of controversy about what is the state of law in Ocean City when it comes to being topless. Now, Chelsea Covington, it didn't load, but I remember her name. Chelsea Covington is a woman who actually lives on the eastern shore of Maryland, but she is a topless advocate for women. And so she goes to D.C. a lot. She goes to New York City a lot. She goes to Vermont, Maine, places where it's legal to be topless, and then just does normal, everyday things. And what she has said in interviews before is that she's trying to warm up everyone to the idea that we have over-sexualized breasts, and if we all just did this, it would normalize it for the next generation, and then we won't have to have these stupid laws. So she lives on the Eastern Shore. She never fought the battle in Maryland. Ironically, it wasn't just something that she did, but apparently she did ask Ocean City what their stand of their policy was, because Maryland law is clear that I want to say it's Article 67 of the Maryland Bill of Rights that says that no law can be applied disjointedly to different gender. So you can't have a law that applies to men but not women, or women but not men. And clearly, male top nudity is allowed at Ocean City. So therefore, female top nudity would have to be allowed in Ocean City. And so she asked, and the police asked the mayor, and the mayor asked the attorney general, and they were just basically like, I don't know, but we are America's #1 family-friendly resort. And the attorney general... Is that true? Yeah. America's #1 family-friendly oceanside resort. Really? It's on the sign when you go into Ocean City.
I was usually too blackout drunk to read that.
It's also like the third best small town in America.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not so small during the summer, but
I mean, I enjoy Ocean City. I don't know if I would ever have categorized it as like family friendly per se, but
it's well, one thing because
I mean, it's not like Vegas, but it's not
the liquor laws and the laws against gambling and nudity and all of those things make it the family friendly.
Gotcha.
So like if you go to Atlantic City, it's great. Wildwood, it's great, but you have gambling, a lot of gambling very nearby in Atlantic City. Mm-hmm. Ocean City, you have one really out of the way casino, but otherwise there's a lot of things for families. It's focused on sand and fun and golf carts and
Rodney the
lifeguard.
The lifeguard.
I hate that guy. But so anyway, the attorney general didn't get back to them before Memorial Day weekend, which is the start of the season there. So 1 week later, clearly now, the chief of police sent out an instruction which leaked to the media, which said that you are not to give a ticket to anyone who's sunbathing topless, because the law is unclear and we don't want a lawsuit when we arrest somebody and then give it and then later it comes out that they were freely allowed to do that. So take an incident report, take all the information, but don't approach the topless person, because the other thing is you're just drawing attention to the fact that the person's topless. Anyway, so what are your feelings about topless sunbathing at Ocean City?
I mean, I'm okay with it. I think that I like the idea of sort of nude beaches and like nude areas.
I'm sure you do.
Just because I think that while the conversation about normalizing toplessness and taking back the sexualization of breasts and everything like that,
right,
is a fine point, and you're welcome to try. I'm also going to say that at this exact moment, that is not the case. Much like if I were to make an argument about pot,
right?
Like everybody here at Ocean City smoking pot.
Yeah,
you're literally going to write me a ticket for something that you're letting 20 people who are driving down the coastal highway do right now,
right?
And like this seemed like, yes, as a police officer, you could say, this is definitely like, I'm definitely not writing everybody who smokes pot a ticket.
Right. But I'm going to write this one.
But I'm going to write this one.
Yeah. The difference though is marijuana it makes you inebriated. It's like it's alcohol, just like anything else. That has risks to the people around you.
Yeah.
Is it the same with sunbathing topless?
There's no direct risk.
Right.
And
that's my problem.
But I would say that it's not something that can I legally walk around downtown LA with my "fuck you, you fucking fuck" t-shirt?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Nothing is going to stop me from doing that.
Right.
Should I be a little bit ashamed of myself if I walk into Chuck E. Cheese with my "fuck you, you fucking fuck" t-shirt? Probably.
Most of those kids can't read anyway. They're in America.
I should feel a little bit ashamed, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the idea.
Right.
I think that in the acknowledgement that you make yourself, Chelsea Cunningham, Covington.
Yes.
That we are a nation in progress.
Right.
Between this place where female nudity is treated different from male nudity, and that it should all be equal. There is going to be time where we are going to need to bridge the gap a bit.
Yeah. And
so
this is not the time?
No, and I think this is the time, but I think it would be more relevant to have sort of like nudity okay locations.
So here's my...
Because how many people are legitimately going to go topless at Ocean City?
Probably not that many, and that's why it's not that big of a deal.
I'm saying if you put off like a 100-yard section of the beach,
right,
and just sort of fenced it off a little bit and said this is going to be the part where nudity is okay,
right.
If you have children, you should be aware that this is going to be the section where the nudity is.
Okay.
Then that to me sounds like, at least as far as a realistic plan. Now, I'm also not in favor of writing up tickets for people who are nude or topless, but I still think that there needs to be this is too big of a gap to just jump from one to the other. There needs to be little bridge steps.
Okay. Two things. One, you're fine with segregating the beach then?
Not segregating the beach.
No, you're segregating.
I'm okay with sectioning off the beach.
Okay. But
which I feel, because segregation has the dirty connotation of racial segregation and stuff like that.
We can agree that this is a backwards way to think, that these people are controlled by morality, but I mean, religious-based morality.
This is a 1 year change.
Yeah.
So if I had an 8-year-old child that I brought to Ocean City with me last year,
right,
and didn't have to see nudity,
okay,
but now we're going to the beach and I'm going to have a conversation with the kid about nudity.
But again, my other point was this: that you talked about wearing your "fuck you, you fucking fucks" t-shirt into Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
That is different because it's profanity.
Yeah.
But
it's also it's also private property.
Right. But no, my point is that children don't sexualize breasts. Children don't sexualize anything. We sexualize breasts.
Yeah.
We, adult men specifically, have sexualized it.
Yeah.
To a prepubescent child, it is, I mean, I don't remember... I can't say for sure. I don't remember ever being around naked parents ever, but I know people who are naked around their kids all the time, because until they reach a certain age, it's just like, well, in fact, we lived with a girl who was often naked around her child by ex, not some strange woman. I should be clear about that. We lived together. It wasn't some strange woman, but, and that's her perspective was, well, for her, it's nothing. I mean, a year ago, she was eating from them, and now they're just there.
Yeah.
So you're worried about a 9-year-old, but a 9-year-old's not going to care. Because you know what? 9-year-old girls often wear just the bottoms of a bathing suit at the beach.
Right.
Because they're androgynous, and they're prepubescent, and it doesn't mean anything to them.
Yeah.
So who are we protecting? We're protecting... It's women protecting themselves or their men. They're worried about what their men are going to do when they see it. And how is that any different than any other kind of slut-shaming?
Okay, so this is making me think of another point.
Okay.
Apparently last night while we were watching the NBA finals, Amber Rose put up some image of her nude on the bottomless.
Yep.
And this was all in support of her. Apparently she has a big march in downtown Los Angeles.
Right.
Like Amber, what's her face is shit. What's her last name?
Amber Rose?
Amber Rose. Amber Rose's Slut Walk or something like that is the name of it.
Okay.
And the idea is that women have been, the sexuality of women has been determined by a male gaze for so long, and this is going to be an opportunity for women to come out and be amongst other women and people they can feel protected around and wear whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
And just feel free to be who they are.
And nudity's allowed in LA.
Yeah. So if you wanted to go topless, you certainly could.
I think you go bottomless too.
I don't think you can go bottomless. I think there is nudity is not bottomless nudity is not allowed regardless of gender. So
maybe that's it. For some reason, I know there's some cities where there is no restrictions.
I know LA is a topless acceptable.
Yeah.
Because I've seen topless women
walking around. And the thing is,
it's like one of those things too. Like you're just driving and you see it and you're just like, what the fuck's that woman doing without a top on?
Right. But wouldn't it be great if we could reach the point where it was just another?
Yeah, it was just a thing that happened.
Because
yeah.
Do you have that reaction when you see a dude walking with his wife beater over his shoulder?
No. And part of the reason why it was so unusual for me to see was because I had never seen it before. I've never seen somebody walking around in public without their top on.
Yeah.
And that was unusual to me. I imagine if I see it 5 times, it's not going to be as...
So why don't we move that direction?
That's fine.
That's this whole point. That's fine. But let people do it who are going to do it.
I think that... The point I was going to make about the Amber Rose slut walk and stuff like that is that part of the reason why I don't much care for this, even though I think the message is great and that I think that people should feel free to do whatever they want and wear whatever they want and not feel endangered or like they're going to be sexually harassed or raped or anything like that.
Right.
I think that the dangerous part there is that you are listening to somebody who is entirely getting paid to be the object of male affection. And she is trying to turn the money that she makes off of being a paid slut to being...
Wow.
What?
Wow. From being a paid slut.
Yeah.
That's...
No, I'm saying the reason why the only reason why she is making money or known or anything like that is because she takes the gifts that God has given her, and she turns it into being a model or being a person in a music video or selling sunscreen or whatever the fuck she's doing.
Right. She's empowered with her sexuality has empowered her. She's not afraid of it. She doesn't have any morality hangups. Yeah,
but I don't think it's not quite the same. You don't say that when Kim Kardashian is half naked trying to sell a magazine to you.
I mean, I do.
That she's empowered and she's doing that because doing that allows her to make more money.
Okay. And that
her being naked allows her to make more money.
Listen, again, I've said this before. A prostitute and a coal miner both sell their body for money.
Yes.
The question is, what is the thing that you're selling and what work are you doing? That's it.
Right.
The prostitute is arguably better at the job because she can do it as long as she wants and she doesn't die from black lung.
My point being that I feel like if we're going to have a serious conversation about this not being a big deal, and this not being like something that brings the eyes of 13-year-old boys snapping their necks looking and stuff like that, we're going to have the conversation we have to have before we can have the whether or not women can be topless in public is the actual rationalization of what the nudity means to.
But we are never as a society going to have that.
If we can't have an honest conversation with, women and young girls and stuff like that about the fact that there is a dangerous line in which if you are accepting of.
Oh my God.
What?
What are you going to say? Go ahead. I already have a sense. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
No, I'm saying
there's a dangerous line.
Yeah, I'm clearly if we're allowing women to go past the line, let's call it the Kardashian line. Like the Mendoza line.
Yeah.
Like if you're forcing someone to go across that side of the line,
who's forcing anybody?
Nobody's forcing anybody.
If you want to be out there in hijab or the full body covering on the beach, I'm not going to judge you.
No,
go out there and enjoy the beach.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to judge you.
If you want to be out there in a skimpy little bikini bottom and nothing else, I'm also not going to judge you. It's your body. Do what makes you comfortable.
Okay, so you have kids. Let's just say you have kids.
Probably. I mean, yes, sure. Hypothetically.
You have a family. You have 3 young children.
Yeah.
Ages 13, 11, and 9.
Okay.
That you're bringing to the beach for Ocean City.
Okay.
you see a woman in a bikini.
Yeah.
You don't think twice about it.
Sure I do, because my 13-year-old is going to gawk like an idiot. And
Right.
I'm going to have to
But
say,
you have to-
buddy,
you have-
listen, we don't stare at women like that. You know better than
You
us.
have the conversation. You say, don't stare at her.
Right.
She's allowed to wear a bathing suit in public.
She is.
She shouldn't be judged because of it, and she shouldn't be gawked at because
No,
of it.
but take a look.
Right. I mean, you know, you can give her like a little sly like through the side of the glasses thing, but
Look for something reflective.
Yeah.
And, like, try to catch a
yeah, that's
reflection.
fine. Then you have to have the further conversation about the topless woman.
Why? It's the same conversation.
No, but the after a while, if you see nothing but bikini women, and then all of a sudden you start seeing topless women, you have to at least have to sit down and say, like, listen, same thing as I said with the bikini.
Yeah.
She's allowed to do this.
Right.
Don't look, don't judge, don't stare. Just let it be.
So,
But hold on.
okay.
So far, I'm with you.
Right.
So far, I'm perfectly fine. I think there should be some sort of intermediary between where we are now and where we want to be with that.
Right.
Which is just basically a difference of opinion of how we get to this point.
Let's go 5 years without having any 13-year-old boys. Everybody just stop having kids for a few years so that we have all little kids and all teenagers.
Yeah.
So that we can make this quick transition, and then all the little kids will be used to it.
The point is, though, if you went there with the family and there was a third example,
Sure.
where a woman was like specifically doing sexually explicit things,
Like what? Masturbating on the beach?
let's say that she had set up like a stick-on dildo on the side of the boardwalk,
Right.
and was now taking her naked breasts and like titty fucking the dildo on the side of.
That's breaking a different law. That's lewd and lascivious behavior.
Right, but I'm saying if you made the argument that.
So you're saying
Hold on. No,
a woman being nude is the same as a woman masturbating a dildo with her breasts.
No.
Them being visible and her giving a tit job to a dildo are the same exact thing.
No, but I'm saying that what the problem that we have is that I think, and again, this is my opinion.
Sure. Only his. It's not clear.
Only mine. I think that there is a dangerous precedent that's being set by forces within this culture that are making certain women feel the need to go far beyond what is to be said as an artistic statement or as a free expression of my body by the same laws that apply to others. And I think that we should have a conversation about the dangerous precedent that we're setting by having people go this far and act like it's not like a big, huge fucking deal, you know?
So come up and sit on Daddy Corey's lap, and he's going to tell you what's okay and what's not. And once we all have
I don't want to be the person who decides. I just want to say that I think it's the know it, you know it when you see it line.
Right. Listen, we can't allow gay people to get married because then everyone's going to want to marry their dog and a car and
I
a
didn't
building.
say that either.
Slippery slope.
I didn't even say that either.
But no, you're making the same argument that just
No,
because
I'm
someone,
not.
just because someone is allowed the same equal rights as everyone else, that all of a sudden they are automatically going to slide into some lewd behavior just because of that.
I'm not. I'm saying that there are people who are going to take advantage of the fact that we are opening up the door enough.
The person who is masturbating a dildo on the boardwalk is going to do that.
You remember when we were kids and like side boob was as dangerous as it got?
God, I miss being excited by side boob. Yeah.
But I'm saying like you would see just the side of a woman's breast.
Yes.
But it would still be covered. The areola would still be covered.
Still
The part that is so offensive would still be covered.
Right. The offensive thing that we all have. Yes.
But the fact that you could see the side of it.
Right.
And you could see the shape and you'd be like, oh, wow. Boob. Boob. It's actual boob in front of me.
Right, yeah.
That part, we've blown past that in terms of social
acceptability?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, right now, if you're a promising actress who's even halfway decent looking, you're going to have to give us at least one side boob picture before we take you seriously.
Okay.
And I'm saying that there is a place in this culture now which is saying that just because you should feel all right with your body and the way that you portrayed and stuff like that, you shouldn't be beholden to any man. You can do whatever you want. If you want to have side boob pictures taken, you should feel free, and I'm perfectly fine with that acceptable part of it. But the part I'm saying is that I don't think that it's right that you have this other the part that doesn't care at all about the mission but says that they care, care about the... Kim Kardashian is going to do nothing but say, I love the female form. I think it's great. I think we should be expressive and women should be able to wear whatever they want. And I can't believe... She's going to say all those things because that's what she's using to exploit the men that she gets money from.
Okay. So what?
So I'm saying that before we
need to protect these poor men from being exploited.
Before we open up the floodgates of the... Before we open up the... I won't say floodgates then. Before we open up to this new stage of human acceptance...
Okay.
...of topless nudity on the Ocean City beaches, I feel like we should do something just as a community, as a society.
Listen.
To rid the world of horrible people who are ruining good, righteous causes all across this country.
I want to give you voting rights. I do. Just not now. All I need you to do is wait. We need society to warm up to the idea.
I'm not saying that either.
100 years, then we can talk about it.
I'm not saying that either.
No, you are. You're saying you're okay. Yes or no?
So if I made a song called Tits, and it was just a heavy pounding house
Tits
beat
in California.
Yeah, if it was just a pounding house beat, and it was just me like auto-tuned through the microphone going like tits. I
think that
like
song
that,
exists.
like over and over and over again.
I think that's a real song.
And then you interviewed me for Rolling Stone, and you're just like, so what exactly is Tits about? And I start saying, oh man, it's about the struggle that the females in our society have trouble.
Woman.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying if I have that conversation, if I go into Rolling Stone and have that interview where I'm just like, this is a women's empowerment anthem.
Okay.
I feel like they should feel free to have their own right to do this anytime they want. I'm not saying that because I actually believe with that. I'm trying to say that so that I actually get women to buy the albums that I make.
Okay. Who cares?
I care.
If it furthers the end goal, who cares?
It doesn't further the end goal.
Yes, it does.
It's a fork in the road.
How? Does it allow for equal rights for people? Does it
Yes.
allow for equal rights to people?
Yes.
Then it meets the same end goal. You're worried about what happens after that. Okay, let's deal with it if that happens.
I think that it's an easier conversation to deal with before we deal with this one.
But why?
That's the
You're
problem.
looking to solve problems that may or may not actually occur.
They very much exist.
They already exist. Wait.
You don't think? Hold on. You don't think that? You don't think that?
Now. You're saying they already exist now.
Yeah.
Where you can't go topless on Ocean City beaches.
Well, no.
So no. That's exactly what you just said. So if it exists now because you've already identified it, then clearly that's not. Then being topless on the beach isn't going to make this problem happen. It already exists.
Yeah.
What you're worried about is, well, it'll just make it more realistic. It'll make it more legitimate.
Let's say
you're willing to
let's say that we went to
unequally apply the law to people based on gender because of the way that it impacts men.
Let me put it this way. Everyone loves Ariel Winter right now.
Sure.
Let's say that a year from now, there was a secret release from Ariel's publicist and manager and agent, where they had very specific instructions of how she was going to dress, the pictures she was going to take, when she was going to release them on Instagram, to make her more palatable to, or more...
She's leading the non-body shaming.
Yeah, but really what they're doing is just trying to get her out in front of a camera, half naked, as much as possible, because it's good press.
Okay.
You don't think that's a problem?
Have we improved?
You don't think that's a problem? You don't think that the year that we spent talking about what a hero Ariel Winter is for going out there half naked,
right,
is a problem? That you spent an entire year talking about this, about how proud you should be of Ariel Winter and the thing she's standing up for women to do.
Have we moved the conversation about body shaming forward? Have we made improvements on that?
No, we haven't. No.
We absolutely have.
No, we haven't.
She's become the poster child.
What we've done is we've spent a year moving the ball down the wrong way.
Why is it? It's the same way.
It's not the same way.
Somebody is exploiting and pushing the ball that way. Who cares if it still happens?
I think that the massive exploitation should be the part that should be dealt with first. That's the most important issue to me.
Okay, but if we did that, nothing would ever happen. If we worry about how things get done rather than just doing them, nothing will ever happen.
I disagree.
People would still be in slavery if you waited to figure out how we can deal with the exploitation without actually doing something.
I disagree.
How is it any different? We have 400,000 people in one state, the state of Virginia, in slavery. Well, listen, we want to free them, but, we want to make sure that there's not anybody who's going to profit from this, because clearly the industry in the North really wants to wreck the agrarian culture in the South because they want to come in and steal the land and invest.
If you told me that...
we need to keep those people in slavery until we figure out how we can make sure that there's no exploitation going on.
Let's say that beyond slavery, there was a new thing called hullabaloo. Which is the exact same thing as slavery, only we're calling it hullabaloo.
Sure.
And then we were trying to decide whether or not we were going to end slavery, and we said, do you realize that if we just end it, that so many people are going to just go to hullabaloo, which is the same exact thing as what they just left.
Right.
And not towards the freedom that we're trying to push them to.
Okay.
We should spend the time before we end slavery to end hullabaloo as well, so it's all gone, so that everything is right, and that we're going in the right direction together as a society.
Okay, so you're advocating for a communist economy then?
No.
Because exploitation is inherently native to capitalism. So either you are saying, I don't want the U.S. to be capitalist anymore.
I don't think I have to go that far to say that, but...
If you can't end exploitation and still have a system that runs based on exploitation, down to the fact that every day I go to work.
How many articles are you... Yeah.
Every day I go to work. Every day I do something that I don't necessarily want to do. That's exploitation. I'm exploited because they know that I need a place to live, that I need food to eat, that I need to have a car to get places, and so they can pay me less than I deserve to make to do a job that I don't want to do. That is exploitation. The basis of capitalism is exploitation.
Yeah, finding people to do things for less than they want to do.
For less than they deserve, for less than they need to survive, all of those things. Yes. Right. So you're saying let's handle the exploitation and then we can worry about all the other problems we have in society. But I don't want to change the system that requires
You don't even have to
exploitation.
fix exploitation first. You just have to fix it enough so that we can have a honest and real conversation about what?
I am understanding the frustration that people have when they have heard for the last 100 years, listen, we're going to do the equal rights thing, but we just need you to wait a little longer.
I'm not asking you to wait.
You're telling people to wait.
No.
You're saying, listen, woman, you are less than me. Your rights are not equal to mine, but I need you to just calm down on this whole let's have equal rights thing until we can figure out the bigger problem with society.
No.
Listen, gay couple, I know you love each other, but what are we going to do about bakeries that don't want to make your cake? What are we going to do about churches that don't want to have your ceremony? What are we going to do about clerks that don't want to issue the things? So we need to figure that out first before we give you the right.
You bring up the gay couple, right? Yeah. So what if I said this? I am the governor of California prior to gay marriage becoming legal.
Okay.
And somebody came up to me and said, I don't understand why I can't marry my boyfriend, Randy, who I've been with for 15 years. And this is completely unfair and it's wrong. And I think that you should allow same-sex marriages today.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm with you. But what we need to do before we can allow it to happen is we need to prepare ourselves legally for all the things that we're going to...
Like what?
Like... Let's say that there had been language written into laws which would make it more. It would make it easier for people to mount an argument against. So I want to fix the laws before I change the gay marriage laws.
All right, so we need to fix the laws, not the one that keeps you from getting married, but these other ones because that makes it more palatable.
The ones that'll cause trouble.
What laws are going to cause trouble? It is really about you category of heterosexual people, you have a right.
Yeah.
Here, category of homosexual people, you don't have that right. Simply because you are different than the heterosexual group.
You act like you haven't even been to law school, and there haven't been many cases where some unusual, crazy law that had been on the books for 200 years completely fucked up some sort of movement in the present.
No. Because you plow through those. That's part of the process of saying we give you the right, and then
And what if I said I wanted to fix that first?
Why?
I want to fix that so that by the time I legalize gay marriage, that it's not going to be, there's not going to be any problems.
You want them to
remain there. We're done.
You want them to remain second-class citizens.
I don't want, what if I said I wanted to spend 5 years prior to making it legal to shore it up, make sure everything was right, and then we can spread it out across the state?
Yeah.
Or we're going to make it legal now, and then we're going to have to deal with 15 years of legal challenges.
Okay. But
I would rather spend the 5 years up front than the 15 years after.
Yeah, but for those 5 years, couples die, and they can't benefit from each other's life insurance. They can't visit each other in the hospital.
That's not my fault.
Right.
That's not... I was... If you would have asked me to be your governor 50 years ago, then I wouldn't have let that happen.
So your point is you would rather keep people second-class citizens.
I'm doing the best I can to fix the solution in as little time as possible.
But
and I
what
think
you don't understand is that both of these things fix the problem. If you make it legal today and you have legal challenges for the next 15 years, great. Let them challenge it. It's still the law.
I mean,
it's still the law.
That'd be like saying that like Kim Davis was in a real big fucking deal in Kentucky. For all that time that she was not accepting marriage licenses. Like, if you could have fixed it so that she couldn't have...
That's a great example. What is your fix for Kim Davis that makes it easier to get married in that county of Kentucky?
Maybe pass a law that says that if you are not issuing marriages licenses, then you can go to jail.
That is, in fact, the law, which is, in fact, why she went to jail.
Yeah.
So how does that change anything? Because all the cleanup that you want to do ahead of time doesn't change people.
Yeah.
It still leaves Kim Davis as the county clerk there. The law says if you don't issue a license, and they've met all the requirements, you are found in contempt of court and you go to jail. So what did she do?
Went to court, found in contempt.
And if you had spent 5 years cleaning up that mess beforehand, and then 5 years later you passed the law, and then 5 years later, that same 5 years later, a gay couple walked in, what would Kim Davis do?
She'd still... deny it.
Right. So you keep them second-class citizens for an extra 5 years so that you can get ready. It doesn't change people. It doesn't change the way that they think. It doesn't change our backward-ass society.
During the time that you're trying to get things in order, you can try and make it more...
Because that's how life works. Because that is a realistic thing that happens in our country or anywhere in the world.
If I told you tomorrow that black was illegal, like wearing black T-shirts was illegal, and... you have all these black T-shirts in your closet. You don't have anything else to wear.
Yeah.
What would you do? You would just wear the black T-shirts, right?
Sure.
And then when somebody came and harassed you about it, you'd say, like, this is all I got. I got to, like, over time, I'll change my wardrobe. But right now, this is all I have.
Yeah.
Sorry, jail. Like, no, you would want to give people enough time to set up for the new reality of the situation.
Because wearing a black T-shirt and being denied the same basic rights that someone else has are exactly the same thing.
I have to make it very easy
Give
examples
me a scenario.
because I have to make I have to make it very easy scenarios because obviously we're not getting anywhere with the broad, huge examples of this.
So what happens when I get arrested for wearing a black T-shirt on day 1 of the T-shirt ban?
Depends on what the
There's a fine. Yeah, so I get a citation and I know I have to go to court. And I go to court and I say, Your Honor, this is a law that is unconstitutional and you should find me not guilty based on facial unconstitutionality of this law. And he says, nope, I find you guilty. You wore a black T-shirt. You're wearing one today, in fact, asshole. Bonk.
Yeah.
So the fine's going to be $250. And I say, I'm not going to pay it. I'm going to pay the $80 appeal fee and we'll see what the upper court has to say about that. And then we go to the upper court. And then you continue to go up. And someone challenges the law and takes it down. Because that's the way the goddamn process works.
Yeah.
If you gave me lead time, does it change the fact that I want to wear black and that there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to wear black?
It's a reasonable point.
And if the first day of the ban, you know what the fuck I'm going to do?
Wear black?
Even if you gave me 6 goddamn years, I'm going to wear black on the first day. Because fuck you and fuck your law. It's not legal. It's not constitutional. And I'm going to challenge it. And in the reverse, in this one, I'm the hipster black wearer, T-shirt wearer, but Kim Davis is the same one. If you gave her 5 years, she's not going to change. And all of the Christian moralists in Ocean City, if you gave them 5 years to get ready for this Topless thing to start, they're still going to fight it from day one.
Yeah.
They're still going to do exactly what they did, which is to go into a special emergency session of the mayor and council, pass a law that says it is now illegal with a $1,000 fine to be topless in Ocean City, come out of it and speak to the media and say, it's an unconstitutional law, but it'll keep the beach clear this summer. That's freedom? That's justice now?
I'm not saying that.
No, they did what you just suggested. They went in and said, we need time to get ready for this. So we're going to pass a law right now that makes it illegal so that we can all sit down and talk about it.
That's not what I'm asking for.
You said, let's take some time to figure it out. Right now, the law is unclear.
I wasn't.
No. Right now, the law in Ocean City is unclear.
You're completely misconstruing what I'm getting at.
Take a little time to figure it out.
No,
let's clean up the situation.
The time that we should take to figure it out is spent by doing things that are progress towards the eventual goal.
But right now,
if I said this summer in particular in Ocean City, we're going to allow for an area of the beach to be topless acceptable for everybody. This will give the opportunity for the women who wish to be topless, a place to do so.
Right.
In the hope that over the next 5 years, we move to full acceptance of this movement.
Okay.
Of the toplessness.
But
if you were somebody who was really dying to be topless on the beach, a woman who's really dying to be topless on the beach, and I was giving you an opportunity to do it right now.
Wait, let's say that I'm going to offer. Here's a question.
Yeah,
we're going to make this section between 35th and 45th Streets. It's the all nude section.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, I'm a good Christian and I don't believe in nudity in public. And my condo is on 44th Street. And so whenever I go out to the beach, you're telling me I got to see a naked woman out on the beach? Well, I've already paid $6,000 for my condo this week down at the beach, down to shore. So what am I supposed to do? Just not go there, or go there and have to have this conversation with my kids?
There will be enough.
There's enough time to get ready, right? So what do you do the first year? You make it illegal despite the fact that you know that it's unconstitutional.
No, you try and protect it a little bit.
How? Where are you going to put it on the beach that there's not going to be somebody who's not going to complain about it?
If they have a condo on 44th Street,
one that I'm renting, not that I own.
Right,
I'm renting it. I've already paid for it.
Yeah. Then it's not. I need to be pretty close to see tits.
No,
I need to be close at it. Like, what?
Wait, you're telling me I got to change the way I live my life because these people want to get naked? I can't just take my kids out to the beach right by my condo every time, like I've done every year for the last 8 years. I've now got to pack them up in the car and take them down to the inlet. That's what you're telling me.
No.
So if I go out on the beach, there won't be any naked women there. That's what you're telling me.
No. What version of this will the plan that you plan to put on action is going to help this guy on 43rd Street anyway?
Because if you just let it be legal the way that it should be legal, he's going to complain. But you know what he's going to do when you make a section of the beach nude?
He's going to complain about that section?
Yeah. And you know what's going to happen if you make that section between 10th and 15th Streets and he lives on 45th?
Going to complain?
He's going to complain.
Yeah.
And he's going to say, I shouldn't have to worry about where I am on the beach to take my kids and blah, blah, blah. You're never going to get it. So you shouldn't say, I'm willing to say that your rights are not equal to mine, that under the law we should look at people differently solely based on gender, because I'm worried about people complaining who are going to complain anyway. And it's even more upsetting to go and say, well, listen, to make sure that we get everybody ready for this, to figure out how the law is unclear. Because it's unclear now, we're going to make it clear. And even though we're going to make it unclear in a way that we know is unconstitutional, we are going to enact a law that we know is wrong and let somebody come and challenge it. We're going to take away someone's liberty when they get arrested, or take their $1,000, or cause them to miss work for a day to come to court and fight it on its unconstitutionality. And we know that right out of the gate, because we're the land of the free and the home of the brave, and this is what we do in America. This is freedom and this is justice, that you get past a law that you know is illegal.
I think that part of the acceptance of any kind of movement is spent with a couple years of getting around to it. And I don't think that should be necessary. Listen, the things that I believe in and the things that I want for a society, I understand that there would be some lead time between when it happens and when it would actually get done.
Yeah, there's been lead time. The law has been... women have been... treated unequally for the last 1,000 years.
Nobody has brought it up until recently, though.
Right.
That's why this is a deal in Ocean City.
Well, no, and here's what I'll tell you. I've been at the beach, and I've seen topless women at the beach.
Yeah.
And they feel as though they need to go somewhere in private to do the thing that they feel natural doing, the thing that I have the right to do, despite the fact that, frankly, I was 360 pounds.
Yeah.
There were women there. My breasts were bigger than theirs.
Yeah.
And I could go topless, and they could not.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I was dating a girl at one time, and the irony was not missed that she had to wear a top despite the fact that my breasts were bigger than hers. So that's okay because it's a male nipple, and that's different. Female nipple, not okay.
Right.
And they've been doing this since 1923 when Ocean City became a resort town. And what you're saying is, listen, just wait a few years more. We're going to treat you like second-class citizens just a little longer to figure this out, to make sure that the men
I wouldn't
have had a chance to
say
talk
it
about
like
this.
that.
But that's what you're asking them to do.
No, that's not what I'm asking them to do. I'm saying, let's take the time to get this right. Let's take the time to make sure that this isn't a problem as much as it could be if we just let it all happen at once. That's all I'm asking for.
What happen at once? Let the 10 women who will ever want to be topless in Ocean City go topless to have the same right that a man has. How about this?
What if it was 10,000 though? What if 10,000?
So fucking what? There
going
are
to-
more than 10,000 men who are topless.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're going to deal with the people who are.
The only law I will accept in Europe. Let's all regroup and get this thing is no nudity whatsoever. No male nudity, no female nudity. Men must keep tops on, must keep their nipples covered, their areolas covered, if women must as well. How about that?
I'm not in support of that either.
Why?
Because I don't want...
Because equality is a bad thing.
No.
Because you want the status quo until society is comfortable.
No, absolutely not.
That's what you're saying. You're saying keep the status quo until we can figure out what might happen.
No.
You're asking them to be treated as second-class citizens on this thing.
No, absolutely not. You're ridiculous.
No, how is that not the same thing? That you have a right. You have a right that they do not have, correct?
Yes.
The only reason they do not have that right is because of their gender.
Yes, and because there
And
have
you're
been
asking
there
them
have
to-
been
to
there
leave
have
that in
been
place.
many years of the misappropriation of what female nudity means.
And you're going to fix that in the next 5 years.
No, but I'm going
You're
to
going to change society itself in 5 years.
No, but
No, in 5 years, you're going to say, listen, I just need you to wait a little bit longer while we figure this out. And 5 years after that, I need you to wait a little bit longer. The same thing we've been doing since female nudity was legalized.
This is not me restricting the rights of anybody. This is me saying, hey,
You are restricting their
absolutely
right.
not.
Do they have a right? Or do you have a right that they do not have?
Yes.
Is that imbibed in a law? Can they get punished for exercising a right that you have freely?
Yes.
That is the same thing. You are withholding a right from them.
Right. This has been something that hasn't been challenged for quite some time.
So what? So what? Now the
proper-
light is on it. Now we need to fix it.
Yeah. And I'm fine. Like, you remember when everybody complained about there not being bike lanes in Baltimore, and now there's plenty of bike lanes?
Yeah.
It's not like somebody went up to City Hall on Tuesday and said, hey, we don't have any bike lanes. And they said, you know what? You're right. You guys are commuters just like the rest of us. You should have bike lanes. And then the next day, the bike lanes were there.
Right. But again,
There was time between somebody complaining about there not being bike lanes to them deciding how they were going to put the bike lanes together and then putting the bike lanes together and then opening it up and then showing people the differences between a bike lane and a driving lane and blah, 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 blah. This took many years. Are you talking about all the people who were driving their bikes in the regular lanes, getting hit by cars, getting massive concussions, killing themselves, that they should be the ones that they are... it's my fault that I didn't have a bike lane up the day after somebody brought it up. No, things take time. I'm not asking you to expel somebody's rights. I'm trying to say that I understand the issue and I want to get there with you, but there is going to have to be a little bit of time for the government.
Why the government?
But for Ocean City.
Why?
For them to get between the point we're at now and the point we want to be at.
What do you need to do?
Whether it be a week or a month or a year or 5 years, I don't know that part right off the top of my head.
have you ever ridden a bike in Baltimore?
No.
Is there anything that would stop you from doing that?
No.
You have the right to. You just chose not to.
Right.
Now you might have if there was a dedicated bike lane because it's safer.
Right, but I'm saying like
You have the same goddamn right. This is about a right.
The argument I'm making is that I can't bring up an issue on a Tuesday and have it fixed on a Wednesday.
This one you absolutely can. All it is about
the point I was trying to make is that I think that there's nothing that we should be able to allow for a probational period where we start expanding the rights.
Why? You sound like a Jim Crow Southern guy right now. You're making the same arguments. You do. Because listen.
But I wouldn't make the same argument about that.
You're talking about bike lanes and how the infrastructure.
I wouldn't make the same argument about slavery as I would about this.
You're talking about bike lanes in Baltimore. And how you have to set up the infrastructure, and it can't be done on the first day.
Right.
I know I have a lot more experience in this than you, but taking off a top is very easy.
Yes.
You just pull the string and it pops off. So I need, one, to have women be willing to do that. If they want to, they can. And two, I need to go to my police officers who theoretically are supposed to uphold the law and say, don't ticket anyone for this.
Yeah.
And if you get a complaint, fill out a form.
Yeah.
But leave it at that. Don't approach the person who's nude. And now we fixed it. Now everyone has equal rights, and they can express those rights if they'd like to.
And you don't think that the next part of this story is going to be the people who are complaining?
They are but my previous point, they're going to complain no matter what. It doesn't matter 5 years from now or not. Section of the beach or the whole beach. It doesn't matter.
You know what the argument is? It's like when we set up this story, and this is going to be the last thing I'm going to say because we have to get out of here.
Yeah.
You said that the woman brought it up.
Yeah.
Went to the Ocean City Hall and asked
the mayor or asked somebody at the City Hall.
And they said, I don't know. Let me check.
Yeah.
And then they went to ask the police.
Okay.
And then the police had to check with the state's attorney.
Yeah.
And then the state's attorney had to check with
whatever. Do their thing.
But there's parts here.
Yeah.
So between the point where Chelsea asked, and the we're going to just write up incident reports, but not talk to the topless person in person, and we're not going to issue fines or anything like that.
Right.
A certain amount of time passed.
Yeah.
Correct?
Like few months, actually.
Few months?
Yeah.
Right. So during that time, we were in the same gray area that we were before.
Sure.
And this is the solution that came through during that time.
What solution?
We're not going to fine women for being topless. But during this time where they were trying to figure it out, we were still in the before time.
Right.
But nothing had changed. They had just decided to interpret the law in a different way. Point. But I'm saying during that time, you could make the same argument that I'm making, which is that we just need a little bit of time to figure out the best course of action.
No, because your point is
what they were doing was examining the law.
No, Chelsea called.
Yeah.
What would happen if Chelsea hadn't called and just showed up at the beach and took her top off?
Then she might have gotten ticketed. She might have gotten...
Because the law is clear that she does not have the same rights as everyone else, right?
Right?
No, the law is not. In fact, the law in Ocean City does not apply here at all. There is no... It fully accepts the Constitution of Maryland, which says that no law can be applied to men and women separately. And the law about lewdness and nudity is that the genitalia cannot be shown. Yeah. Genitalia has not been defined. As defined generally, it is the reproductive organs, not secondary sex characteristics.
Right.
So she could have been there and done that free and clear and not had any problems. Mm-hmm. It might have turned into a problem, but illegally have turned into a problem.
Right. But I mean, day one, it would have been a problem.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. But I'm saying like
somebody calls.
Yeah, but I'm saying much like your example of my portion of the beach would be allowed to be nudist.
Yeah.
Somebody would complain.
Sure.
Somebody would complain.
They're always going to complain.
Right.
But you know what the police chief would say?
But then
the police chief flips through the book and says, "Shit." That woman say she can't be topless.
That woman gets arrested, or that woman gets a fine.
Probably doesn't get fined.
She needs to go fight this fine in court.
Right.
She has to go through all the steps that you did just to wear your black t-shirt. All I'm saying is, if we come together as a society and realize that there's a part of the problem that needs to be fixed, what is wrong with taking the time to try and fix things?
It's not going to help because at the end it's Kim Davis. At the end, there's still people. There's gotta. If the police chief was going to support a citation,
I refuse to believe this logic.
If the police chief was going to write a citation to Chelsea this weekend, he would write it 5 years from now and this weekend too, because it's about his perspective.
I don't understand if she comes in on Tuesday, how Monday we were all perfectly fine, there was no problems. On Tuesday she brings up the issue. On Wednesday we're all in deep shit.
We're not in deep shit.
No, I'm saying there's an argument that you're making here that
you're depriving people of life and liberty.
All the time that left that was where this issue wasn't being brought up before was whatever. It was fine. It was neutral. It was nothing. Sure. And then the day that it got brought up,
because if it's not addressed, the Constitution says you have the freedom to do something that is not limited by law. So if it's not limited by law, technically for the last 100 years, people have been shamed, which I think was your big issue earlier, right? About the exploitation and the shaming. Shamed into staying covered.
Yeah.
So really the law, though, said that she could have been uncovered. What they've done is they've said, yes, we know that the law was unclear and that you could have been uncovered, but now we're going to take away that right. And we're going to say you're not an equal citizen.
No.
Something applies unequally to you.
We got to move on. All I'm saying is that I think that...
just keep in mind when you write your hate mail, it's Corey at otheanthem.com. Corey is the one who thinks that women are second-class citizens. Rob is the one who's on the path for freedom. So.
I'm
second-class citizens.
I don't for a second believe that they're second-class citizens.
You want law? Do you want law to apply differently to women?
No.
This specific law, do you want it to apply?
No.
Are you okay with there being a period where it does apply unequally?
If it's part of a transition to a better future,
making my best argument for me. So.
I think that we should all be understanding of transitional law.
Sure.
I think it's something that can be.
Wait for equality, because that wait will end someday. Surely.
No, but if equality happened on day one, but the manner in which people became equal took time.
Okay.
Would you have an argument with it?
Yes.
If everybody was free on the same day.
Yeah.
But there was going to have to be a method by which we roll it out.
Then it's not free.
If I was,
am I limited? Does it apply to everyone equally?
If we weren't allowed to own guns.
Okay.
And then somebody brought up to City Hall and said, "Hey, this is bullshit. Everyone in America should be allowed to own guns."
Yeah.
And then they said, "Oh shit, we goofed up bad. We got to let everybody own guns again."
Yeah.
But we need to have a process by which we allow people to have the guns. So what we're going to do is just by a random choice, we're going to pick a system where everybody with last names A through K get to be on the list first.
Okay.
To put their name in to get the gun license and stuff like that.
I'm fine with that. I'm up first. So.
No, but I'm saying if you were
unequal, yeah.
If you were, if your last name was Lima,
yeah,
and you're not through the A through K.
Or zebra.
Yeah, you would say, how dare they make a law that's judged off of what my name happens to be? I didn't have any pick over that. How dare they say that Baker gets to have his gun first or Cheek gets to have one before me? This is stupid. But what needs to happen is the process by which we allow everyone to have that gun legally. And there needs to be some sort of provisional process that happens between when we realize we fucked up and when we get to the place we need to be. Mm-hmm. And that's all I'm arguing for. And my secondary argument on that was just that I think that there is an outrageous argument that is being going on, sort of subverting the argument of equal freedom for women, where they're being exploited worse than they've ever been before. And the process by which the exploited people are going out and saying that they're not being exploited is dangerous for children. And that's my point.
When you're writing those emails, just remember, Corey thinks the female nipple is as dangerous as a gun.
No.
But, so if you want to check out if you want to be the one exploiting, there's some great places that you could exploit us, I think.
Yeah.
Like where?
Like OTheAnthem.com, Corey at OTheAnthem.com, O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595.
And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert and Cheek. If you'd like to give me an attaboy for making the argument today, please make sure you do that. Twitter is a great place to do that, at Robert and Cheek on Twitter. And you can send it to at LegendCB5 and at O The Anthem, just to let everybody know your position on the the topless sunbathing issue. But make sure you also check out my website, robertandcheek.com, where you can find links to my political blog with more inflammatory things like this, foundingthefuture.us, the news website, and the books, which are available on Amazon.
Buy Ro's books. Well, I think we've done something.
We've done something. I don't know if it's something, but as always, you are listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great nude week, everybody.
Yeah. Take this one off right now. Woo!